Hello dear students, welcome to online classes Semstar Global. Today the topic that we are going to begin is the last lesson. This is the first chapter in your textbook Flamingo. Before we begin, let's talk about the author Alphonse Daudet. Alphonse Daudet was one of the finest French novelists, dramatist and a short story writer. He was a part of the French naturalism movement and had an important role in the transition of 19th century theatre. He started his career as a school teacher but quickly gave up teaching and decided to go to Paris to become a journalist. Before we begin with the lesson, which is the last lesson, let's know more about the background or the backdrop of the lesson or the time when the lesson was or the story is set. Now, this is the time of Franco-Prussian War when France was defeated by Prussia, led by Bismarck. Prussia then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. The Franco-Prussian War or Franco-German War, often referred to in France as the War of 1870, was a conflict between the Second French Empire and the German states of North German Confederation. It was a coalition of German states led by Prussia, where France was defeated. French hegemony or French domination in continental Europe was ended when Germany won in this war. In this particular story, we find the situation is that Germany annexed Alsace and half of Lorraine. An order had come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine, and it was going to be the last French class in the story. The story begins in the year 1870 when the Prussian forces under Bismarck attacked and captured France. The new Prussian rulers discontinued the teaching of French in the schools of these two districts, and the French teachers were asked to leave. We will find two characters in the story around whom the whole story is knit up. We have a student, a small boy named Franz, and the another important character in the story is M. Hamel, the French teacher. This story provides us a memorable glimpse of how one's language is rooted to one's identity, meaning that how our identity is deeply rooted in our respect towards our country and our language. The story highlights how language comes to the surface in times of crisis when one's identity is most threatened. The one thing that we are sure to learn after the reading of this chapter is, irrespective of the characters, of the place, of the time, one thing that we can always bear proudly in our heart is that we need to be proud of our language. We need to be proud of our country. And it is only then when we can remain or feel proud of ourselves in the whole world, and we can remain stronger. The story begins as a narrative of a small boy named Franz. He says, I started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of a scolding. Great dread of a scolding means he was really very afraid of getting a tight scolding, especially because M. Hamel had said that he would question us on participles. and I did not know the first word about them. As we all know, and you all are also well aware, that what happens when we have not learnt our lesson and we have to go and face the teacher. For a moment, I thought of running away and spending the day out of doors. It was so warm, so bright. The birds were chirping at the edge of the woods, and in the open field back of the sawmill, the Prussian soldiers were drilling. It was all much more tempting than the rule for participles. But I had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. The boy Franz, who is mentioned in the story and who is narrating the story, was not at all interested in going to school because he had not revised and prepared his lesson, and he wanted to run away as he had several distractions on the way to school. He could see the Prussian soldiers drilling and marching around, and the open fields behind the sawmill tempted him to run away, as these were much more entertaining and interesting than the rules of the participle that his teacher had asked him to learn. But he had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. Franz speaks further that when I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. For the last 2 years, all our bad news had come from there. The lost battles, the draft, the orders of the commanding officer. And I thought to myself, without stopping, what can be the matter now? Franz's teacher M. Hamel is supposed to question the students on the past participle. Franz hasn't learnt it, and with great effort, he resists the temptation to bunk his class and goes unwillingly to school. He sees a crowd gathered around a bulletin board at the public square, the medium through which all of the bad news had reached Alsace. The news about lost battles, of the droughts, and the orders of the commanding officers. Franz banks on heavily on the usual commotion of the class and plans to quietly go inside the classroom, as he is already afraid that how his teacher is going to react. Franz continues, then as I hurried by as fast as I could go, the blacksmith, watcher, who was there with his apprentice reading the bulletin, called me after. As Franz was moving ahead and hurrying to reach his class, he was called by the blacksmith, watcher, who was also reading the bulletin where the news was already mentioned and the people had gathered around. He called Franz back and said, "Don't go so fast, bub. You'll get to your school in plenty of time." Franz didn't understand actually what he meant. He thought that he was making fun of him and reached M. Hamel's little garden all out of breath. Out of breath due to two reasons. One, that he was late to school, and second, he had not prepared his lessons, and now he had to be ready to face the consequences. Now, when Franz reaches his school, he finds a great difference, an unusual difference he finds in the usual day and movement and sound that he could hear, and the day when he reached over there, this present moment, he finds there is a big change. Usually, when school began, there was a great bustle which could be heard out in the street. Bustle is the sound
made by children of moving here and there, running, opening and closing of desks and benches, a sound could be heard out in the street. You can very well understand how it is the sound in the morning when you all enter the school before the assembly. There is whole lot of sound, and this sound, which we usually call noise, as we say that children are making a lot of noise, is the real life of a school, which we are indeed missing nowadays. Anyway, heard out in the street, the opening and closing of desks, lessons repeated in unison, means lessons repeated unitedly by the children when they repeat it after their teacher, like we learn the tables, we learn the spellings very loud without our hands over our ears to understand better, and the teacher's great ruler rapping on the table. But now it was all so still. Children, I told you that there was a grave contrast that Franz could sense on that day, which was completely unusual than the other days. I had counted on the commotion, all the noise that is created in a school in the morning before the school begins, or any other time also before a class begins, to get to my desk without being seen. He had thought that he will rely on the sound, on the noise and all the confusion and chaos, and he will quickly slip inside the classroom, which you all have had done many a times. But of course, that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. Through the window, I saw my classmates already in their places, and M. Hamel walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler. Under his arm, I had to open the door and go in before everybody. You can imagine how blushed and how frightened I was. Now, Franz had thought that he would quickly slip into the classroom unnoticed, relying upon the chaos and the noise, but everything was quiet on that day, just like a Sunday morning. And he could see his classmates already seated in their place. Teacher M. Hamel walking up and down in the class with his oh so fearful iron ruler under his arm. And Franz had to open the door and enter in front of everybody, and he was late, had not prepared for the lesson, and so you can imagine what was his condition. But nothing happened. M. Hamel saw me and said very kindly, "Go to your place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you." Franz peers through the window and sees his classmates in their respective seats. He goes to his desk and notices that the teacher has put on his green coat, a frilled shirt, and his black silk cap, usually worn on special occasions like award ceremonies and inspection. To his surprise, he also sees the residents of his village all huddled up in the classroom. He sees old Hauser, the former mayor, the former postmaster, and many others sitting on the back bench of the class, all seated with a solemn look on their faces, while Franz begins guessing the reason behind such an unusual day. Franz was astounded to see his teacher dressed in the best manner, wearing his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and his little black silk cap, which he would wear only on special days or on Sundays, on inspection days and prize days. And the fact that shocked him the most was that the back benches of the class, which usually remained empty, was occupied by the elders of the village. He could see old Hauser, apart from the postmaster and all the other villages. Hauser had brought an old primer, thumbed at the edge, and he held it open on his knees, with his great spectacles lying across the pages. While I was wondering about it all, M. Hamel mounted his chair and, in the same grave, serious, and gentle tone which he had used to me, said, "My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. The new master comes tomorrow. This is your last French lesson. I want you to be very attentive." What a thunderclap these words were to me. Oh, the wretches! That was why what they had put up at the town hall. As it was that Franz was unable to understand that what was happening on that day, when it was unusually quiet, no one was talking in the classroom. The teacher M. Hamel had allowed him to enter and sit in his place. The last benches were occupied by the villagers, and his teacher M. Hamel was all dressed up in his best dress. And what was that unusual news? What was that shocking, heartbreaking news that had come? M. Hamel finally dropped the bombshell, and the news that he gave came as a thunderclap. What was the news? The news was that order had come from Berlin that French would no longer will be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine, and all the French teachers had to leave that very day. From then onwards, they were supposed to learn only German. This news was such a shock for Franz. The whole scene became clear in front of Franz's eyes. He understood that this was the news which was put up at the public square, why people had gathered over there, and why he was called back by blacksmith Watcher. My last French lessons. Why, I hardly knew how to write. I should never learn any more. I must stop there then. Oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons, for seeking birds' eggs or going sliding on the Saar. My books that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so heavy to carry, my grammar and my history of the saints, were old friends now that I couldn't give up. And M. Hamel too, the idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. The very news of M. Hamel leaving the school and not teaching them anymore came as a terrible shock to Franz. He regretted at not having taken his French lessons seriously. He regretted choosing instead to peek at the bird's nest and go sliding on the Saar desert rather than learning his lessons. Oh, how painful it was for him to believe that this was going to be his last lesson, and he didn't even know how to write. He also felt sad for M. Hamel, a man who had given 40 years of service to the place and who was being told to leave it forever. He understood the regret of the village folks at not having taken their language seriously either. This was a time when Franz felt that he had grown a certain fondness for his teacher M. Hamel, which was usually a sense of ignorance, a sense of disrespect, and a sense of being irritated from his teacher because he got scolded for coming too late, he got scolded for not preparing his lesson, and all of a sudden all these negative feelings changed into a feeling of pain when he realized that the man who irritated him so much was going to remain no longer with them, was no longer going to be their French teacher. And the lessons which he hated the most, the French lessons, he would no longer have an opportunity to study his own language. Dear children, we will continue the next part of the explanation in the next video. Till now, read the text, the PDF provided to you, and try to understand the conflicting feelings in the mind and heart of Franz. Thank you.